Are you familiar with fills like these? If you're new to playing double bass, playing a fill like this might be a bit tricky. Let me break this down and show you exactly what you need to do to incorporate these fills since you're playing quickly. I commonly associate these fills with Mike Portnoy because they used to be so prevalent in his playing style. Plus, covering Dream Theater is how I originally learned these fills. More commonly though, you should probably refer to the fills as 2 up, 2 down, or 2 hand motions followed by 2 foot motions. There's a ton of other combinations as well, such as 4 up, 2 down, or 2 down, 2 up. One of the most important things to know here is that you can't practice these slow. You can work on them a bit slower at maybe a medium pace, but you can't work on them at a slow tempo. Let me show you what happens if you try to practice them slow. You'll see there that there's a pause between each stroke. More importantly, there's a lack of continuous motion between my different limbs. And in order to play these right, you're going to have to develop this fluidity between your motions. So that's what we're going to focus on first, developing a certain amount of fluid motion between each limb. Once you have that down, then you'll be able to crank the tempo up. Let's start by practicing with groups of 2. Our goal eventually is to be able to play right hand, right kick, on repeat and just continuous. Let's start off by just trying to play right hand into the left hand. As you can see, once I got that right hand motion going, the left hand starts to follow suit. There's a certain amount of interdependence, not independence, that you need to develop. You'll also see that I'm really overemphasizing the arm motions here. Once you are comfortable with this and you're able to bring the speed up, then you can focus more on playing from your wrists than from your arms. We need to develop this for each combination of 2. So after the right hand, left hand, next we want to work on left hand into the right kick. Then right kick to left kick. And then what might be the trickiest of them all, left foot into the right hand. Once you have those pairs down solid, the next step will be to work on groups of 3. Again, start with the right hand and work through all 4 possible combinations. Next, you want to work on groups of 4. Don't try to play them in succession at this point. You'll still need to develop the sense of how to stop and start from each limb. Now we can finally try to play this on repeat. Be sure to keep the tempo at a medium pace. Really focus on your motions and the evenness between each hit. Try to observe if there's any particular timing issue between 2 limbs, and if there are, go back and repeat those earlier exercises that included those limbs. Once you have that solid, you can finally start to bring up the tempo. Be sure to bring it up slowly. You'll find that once you hit a certain tempo, you may lose the feel needed to play this. It's important to slow it back down at that point to the tempo just before you start to lose control. Each day, work on this fill. Start off at that medium tempo just as a warm-up, and then bring things up to that borderline tempo. After several iterations of this, try to bring the tempo up slowly and only by a little bit, by maybe 2 or 3 BPM. When you start off the next day, you may find that you can't play quite as fast as where you ended the day before. That's okay, you probably just need to warm up a little. Try to push yourself so that every day you are going 2 or 3 BPM faster. After a few weeks of daily practice, you're going to find yourself much faster. Up to this point, everything's been on the snare. That's kind of boring. But also, it's important to note that when you first try to move your arms around the toms, you might have some difficulty there. You might fall off the beat a little bit. As a next step, try an exercise where you run down the toms. Also try running up the toms. Try alternating between the snare and the toms, working your way down. And then back up. Let's make things really interesting. We're still going to alternate between the snare and the toms, but now when you play on the toms, the 2 hands should never play the same drum. I want you to go through this in the pattern shown here. That'll help you go through a lot of different combinations. Next, try keeping your left hand on the snare and moving just your right hand between the different toms. Once you have all of that solid, try exploring with different hand and foot combinations, such as 4 up, 2 down. Or 2 down, 2 up. Remember, whenever you start with those foot first fills, you need to end with your left hand. If you're looking for another challenge, you may want to try quintuplet drum fills, and everything you need to know about them can be found right over here. Until next time, peace.